On today's stream, we're going to be playing Dimir Frogtide. This is a blue-black deck in Modern, built around the new card Psychic Frog from Modern Horizons 3. For 2 mana, you get a 1/2. It says whenever this deals damage to a player planeswalker, draw a card. You can discard a card to put a +1/+1 counter on it, and you can exile 3 cards from your graveyard to give it flying until end of turn. Psychic Frog is a callback to Psychotog, an old card that I'm quite fond of. And I have essentially taken the shell that someone else built and cut what I would consider to be the worst card in deep analysis, and instead added a fourth consider, a third subtlety, and the main deck dismember. And my attempt in changing this deck is that I want to build a Delver style deck, but I don't think you necessarily need 1 mana cards. Delver of Secrets is often, I think, misunderstood. And I think that, the Murktide decks that are blue and red are often built very similarly. Apex Predator, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Welcome to Todd Squad. I appreciate you. Thanks for the brand new sub. Anyway, decks like Murktide, Delver, they're often built around 1 mana creatures and leveraging those bodies of the 1 mana creatures to make your situational counter spells better. Things like Spell Pierce, Mana Leak. These days we get access to some much stronger counter magic in Counterspell and Force of Negation, as well as Subtlety. And so we don't really need the 1 mana creature to do that. We can do a very similar thing with 2 mana creatures, and Psychic Frog is the perfect 2 mana creature to do exactly that. If you play Psychic Frog on turn 2 and you have Subtlety and Force of Negation in hand, it's very difficult to lose. Your opponent plays a creature that can potentially threaten the frog or make attacking through difficult, boom, subtlety to the top of the deck. Force of Negation protects it from removal, and also can just make sure your opponent doesn't combo kill you on their turn. All while Psychic Frog refuels her resources by drawing a card when it hits the opponent. So all of that combined, the blue shell with the pitch counter spells makes Psychic Frog extremely powerful. And we're utilizing it alongside another card that Psychic Frog actually helps, and that's Murktide Regent. And now Murktide Regent has kind of supplanted Delver of Secrets as the go-to threat for the Delver style decks, because it's basically a 2 mana 6/6 7/7 8/8 flyer or whatever, right? It just gets really big really quickly, and it comes down, pretty early in the game. Murktide Regent specifically works well with Psychic Frog because Psychic Frog can utilize the last ability, the exile 3 cards to get flying. You can do that at will, and so if you play a Murktide Regent and then later you play a Psychic Frog, you can use that ability on Psychic Frog to buff Murktide Regent to deal the last few points of damage. We all know that 3 hits with Murktide Regent is almost always game over, and with Psychic Frog it turns a lot of times into just 2 hits. On top of that, Frog is just a large threat that can get flying, and so your opponent has to respect it, and you can protect it quite easily with things like Spell Pierce, Spell Snare, Counterspell, Force Negation, and Subtlety. The rest of the deck is built around this idea with Consider to fill the graveyard and dig for your important cards, depending on if you need lands or if you need threats. Preordain digs for Murktide Regent, but also fills the graveyard for it. Spell Pierce and Spell Snare both protect your creatures and yourself from what the opponent is doing. Spell Snare got a huge buff in the most recent Modern Horizons 3 release, as they printed roughly 6 cards at 2 mana that are just incredible. And we are playing one of them, Psychic Frog. We also have Orcish Bowmasters. We also have Counterspell. Spell Snare is great against any deck that plays any of those cards. We're playing 4 Fatal Push as our removal spell of choice. We only have 8 fetch lands. I've been thinking about going up to 9. I'm not super into Darkslick Shores in the deck. I might cut 1 for another fetchy in order to help make Fatal Push just a little bit better. I'm also not sure if I want to play a Swamp or not. I think a Swamp might be okay. I think an Otawara might be okay, although Otawara without any legendary creatures to reduce the cost does make it quite a bit worse. I would never play Takenuma. We have removal other than Fatal Push. We have 2 Drown in the Lock. This doubles as a counterspell in some spots. We don't have a way to make our opponent's graveyard bigger, but as the game progresses, Drown in the Lock just gets better. Almost every single matchup has a good target for it. Decks like Tron that don't play fetch lanes, you can often side out Drown in the Lock when it's bad. Sideboard, we have 4 Break the Ice and 3 Consign to Memory for the Colorless Eldrazi style decks, the Tron decks. Break the Ice, great at hammering the early 2-mana lands. And Consign to Memory, great at countering the One Ring and their big payoffs. The Replicate also lets you counter the triggered ability from some of the Eldrazi they cast as well. Spell Pierce, number 3, can come in matchups where the cheap counter spell is relevant. Second Dismember comes in against Harbinger of the Tides, but also against most creature decks. I think that Dismember and cards like it are very strong against things like Nadu because they don't pressure your life total very well, so it's okay to take 4 damage to cast a removal spell. 2 Surgical Extraction to help strip your opponent of various things from the graveyard. This is mostly for things like Goryo's Vengeance, but there are some matchups in some spots where I could see bringing in Surgical that might not be intuitive. I know a lot of people board it in spots where I consider it to be a mistake, but who really knows, right? If it wins you the game, it wins you the game. Toxic Deluge, this is a singleton sweeper effect. It does cost life, so I don't know if it's 100% worth it. But I do think that it's just a powerful card, and it's relatively new to the format, so I'm excited to play more with it. I loved it in Legacy. 4th copy of Subtlety in the sideboard, mostly for Nadu, but can come in against a number of creature-based decks. Whenever Force Negation is bad, that's when we want Subtlety, because this usually means that that's going to be good. And then lastly, 2 copies of Stern Scolding. This is great against a lot of the scam decks, because they play Dothi Voidwalker, Bowmaster, Grief, and it counters the pitch elementals mostly. This is Dimir Frogtide. Alright, let's catch up with chat. Apex says, I've been following you for a very long time, Mr. Todd, even the Naya Blitz days. Nice. Loved me some Naya Blitz. Me and Brad built that deck when Jerry was doing very well in Pro Tour with Restoration Angel, Boros Reckoner stuff. We were at home. Okay, so they didn't play 1-drop. So I'm going to wait to play the Preordain. I'm going to hold up Spell Snare. Maybe you can make an argument to play the fetch land, but I think I'd rather save this. I'm not really sure what I'm playing against yet. Probably Nadu, but it might be something else. All right, here's Saga. Bobble. Okay, so maybe Teamer Breach. So Spell Snare could be great in that spot. Emery. Well, this is bad, chat. This is really bad. I guess we can just kill it with Drown in the Loch next turn, so it's maybe not that bad. Secret, I'm not a big fan of the Winter Moon, if that's what you're talking about. And Harbinger of the Tides could be good. This is the type of deck where it could be great, but we would have to play the Swamp, and I do think the Swamp is quite bad. Ah, Lucas, what's up, buddy? Oh, dude, it's so good to see you, man. I miss y'all. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing good in school. Oh, it's summertime. I'm sorry. How's summer going, buddy? You been doing some podcasts and stuff with the stuff Aunt Callie and I got you? All right, so they're gonna pop this Mishra's Bobble. This is a game that you don't know anything about, I bet, Lucas. But that's okay. So we will destroy the Emery and say go. And they're gonna start doing Urza Saga stuff. Next turn we gotta probably play a couple Preordains. We might need to main phase fetch looking for some action. Using it as mana. It depends on if we need to play Fatal Push or not. If we need to play Fatal Push, we'll probably fetch for an island and then play Preordain. Saga, the Bane of Counterspell decks? Yeah, but they have a tough time beating Murktide Regents, so it is what it is. Saza, thanks for the follow. Alright, so we did find Fatal Push, so we do have a way to kill this Saga. Alright, let's play a Preordain. Aw. I'll tell Aunt Callie that she was in chat. What's up, buddy? This is Jaeger. This is my cat Jaeger, Lucas. Alright. I don't know if I want the subtlety. I kind of do, because I want to have some way to stop Nadu once it's in play. Stop it, buddy. Come on now. Come on, Jaeger. Alright, so we'll hold up Spell Snare and Fatal Push and Subtlety, and we'll play Preordain next turn probably. And if we don't end up using the mana off the Flooded Strand, we'll fetch the Undercity Sewers and Surveil one. Hey! Black? What's the black for? Orcish Bowmasters, probably? Interesting. Alright, there's no need to Fatal Push right this second, really. Trying to learn Magic? Oh boy. Well, I got some stuff to teach you next time I see you. I'll bring some decks and I'll show you. I remember when y'all were playing Pokemon, and y'all would just look at the cards and say, hey, I want to trade my Charizard for your whatever. This is Spike's Basim deck. The green is for Haywire Might. Oh, interesting. I feel like it's very easy to just play... When you play Saga and Mishra's Bauble, Imri, Tamio, you can just play Nadu. So if it doesn't have Nadu in it, that's fine. But it probably should just be also playing Nadu. Alright, that's fine. We will go ahead and Fatal Push this thing. They may Nile Spellbomb me at sorcery speed here. I'm gonna just fetch... I don't really want Undercity Sewers because I think that'll just immediately make them pop their Nile Spellbomb. So I think I'm just going to maybe just fetch a tap Watery Grave and then untap and play Murktide Regent. They might go ahead and fetch Black Source Spellbomb me now, but they might not. And if they do, great. And then I'll just untap, play Preordain, hold up Interaction, and their construct's pretty small. Yeah, I remember y'all were all trading cards and stuff, and y'all didn't really know what the game was. I thought that was fun, and y'all just loved the playing cards, but didn't know how to play the game. Lucas, there's a Disney game that I'm really enjoying as well called Lorcana. I don't know if you've heard of that one, but if you're interested in learning that one too, let me know. I got decks for that one too. It's pretty similar to this one though, but it uses Disney characters instead of like Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph's on there. All right, let's main phase of Preordain. We're gonna refill our graveyard again. I don't think we want either of these lands. Maybe it's okay to have one of the lands, because we might want to hardcast Subtlety at some point. And now we have Consider, which we can dig for a counterspell, and we have Spell Snare to counter a 2-drop. I don't think that there's too many 2-drops. I don't need to see their decklist, Oinkster. I honestly really don't like knowing exactly what my opponent's playing in the leagues. And like that's just not a good way to test, because that's just not going to be how it is in real life most of the time. Now, that said, for the RC specifically, that is how it works. All right, we will Spell Snare this Jam. But if anyone else wants to look at the deck list our opponent's playing, that's fine. Sparring Spike did top 8, or I don't know exactly where he got, but one of the modern showcase thingies recently with this deck. I don't know if it's a showcase. I don't know exactly how they're done. Okay, so I could just play 3-mana Murktide, or I could just hold up Subtlety. I think I'm just going to play a big old Murktide. They already hit my graveyard once. And I'll probably use Subtlety, pitch Subtlety. But maybe I'll use Subtlety, pitch Murktide, and then on my... Ooh. Yeah, I think I will go for my own Subtlety in the hopes that they don't have another Subtlety or counterspell for this one. Nice. So, the way this game works, Lucas, is... Oh, no, they have 2 Subtleties. Okay, so the way this game works, long story short, is... once per turn, you can play a land. These are resource cards. I think we'll bottom this Murktide because we just don't have a graveyard. So once per turn, you can play a land. These are lands. The lands produce mana, which is like energy. And you can use that energy to play spells. This one costs, 4 mana. That's what we say. and it requires 2 blue mana and then 2 of any other color. And so these tap for blue, these tap for blue and black. And some of the lands have benefits because they tap for multiple colors. This is a very complex format that I'm playing right now in terms of, it's just like a lot of really old, powerful cards. I don't think there's anything I would want to main phase with Consider except maybe a Psychic Frog, so maybe we should play it. I couldn't think of anything, and then I thought of Psychic Frog. Alright, we'll hold up the Consider for next turn, and we'll hold up Subtlety for this turn. And we're going to definitely play Subtlety on basically any creature they play. Do you know what the Pokemon card was that you sold for 200? I'm very curious now. One ring. Alright, we need to find a counterspell for this. Subtlety only hits creatures. We did luckily hit actual counterspell. Now let's do this and hope they don't have Spell Pierce. Spell Pierce is the last card, we're dead. Alright, they didn't have it. Nice. Now we have to beat the second Urza Saga, though, which could be quite difficult. Orcish Bowmasters. Okay, I'm just going to main phase this and kill the construct before they start making bigger constructs. Subtlety is down for a turn, but I think making sure that this doesn't become like a 4/4 or 5/5 is important. Just get him in Mono Green Pioneer? Yeah, it's a good idea. Another One Ring, we're dead. The One Ring is a wild card. Lucas, has your dad ever showed you Lord of the Rings? This is a card from Lord of the Rings. What's up, Jaeger? Jaeger is spoiled because when he sits in Callie's office, he sits on the keyboard. Not really? Well, if you like fantasy, like dragons and stuff, Lord of the Rings is maybe the most famous of all those types of things. And I would recommend watching them and asking your dad if you can watch them. I think that they're right around your age appropriate, and they're thought of as some of the best movies that's ever been made. We are losing to this ring. I don't think that we can beat it. We don't have anything in our deck that really competes with it once it's in play. Yeah, One Ring's a big snooze fest, if you ask me. Alright, let's go ahead and fetch. We might be able to kill this. We'll surveil to the top, and if we find Fatal Push, those Undercity Sewers, we're definitely just going to hit the Haywire Might with a Subtlety. Murktide on top. Okay, we might actually get there, chat. We might actually get there. We're going to put the Haywire Might on top. They're going to, I guess they'll choose where it's going to go. And then I'll attack for 3 down to 10, and then I'll play a huge Murktide Regent. And then the One Ring plus Murktide Regent might be too much for them. But maybe it won't be, you know? They also might have just drawn another Subtlety. No, you can't join live together on Twitch, Lucas. It was a Dragonite first edition? That's sick, though. Yeah, I was just curious what card it was. Dragonite first edition. Pokemon was really popular when I was a kid, too. Ah, untap the One Ring, draw more cards. Brutal. Let's hope they can't kill the Murktide Regent. I think their deck is actually pretty poor at killing it, but they could grow the construct bigger than the Murktide, and then I'm in trouble. There's Tamiya. 7 cards in hand for my opponent. This is another One Ring. Yay! Another the One Ring. And now we can attack for a turn, and the construct's going to probably grow out of control. Oh, nice! I'm actually going to be driving through West Virginia on Friday this week. I have a work thing in Ohio. We might be on the road around the same time, buddy. Froggy? Froggy time. Here we go. Mishra's Bobble. But Contract plus Shadowsphere plus Ring is going to be tough. Frogtide's nice. I like the concept. I think I need to block. I think I need to block because I think it's just going to gain too much life long term. This is perhaps a mistake to block, but I don't think so. Maybe we'll deck them. But they have Ring plus Manamo plus Shadow Spear. So, I don't know. Right now, Frog can't really attack through Tamiya, which is a bummer. Oh, they're killing it anyway. That's fine. Alright, so they're going to flip the Tamiya. And then they're going to shrink these. They can also Minamo untap. I wonder, I might actually run them out of cards. That's like almost never the case. They usually die to the ring before they run out of cards, but with Manama, it really changes some of the math. Alright, so I can attack for 2. The question is, do I attack face or attack Tamiya? Would you Fawn? This is a good counterspell for maybe their replacement ring. Let's go face. Let's just put some pressure on their life total, I suppose. This will get shrunk, so no reason to attack with it. Training for baseball today? Nice. What's your position, bud? Oh yeah, I've seen some frogs in the Gora's Vengeance deck, Oink Sir, and it looks good. They decided not to draw the ring, which means they're scared. You're scared? I hope their hand is just 9 lands. Another Tamiyo, sure. Yep. Catcher at third base, left field. Nice. Great positions. Catcher's really hard. If you want to be a catcher, you need to really try as hard as you can. But it is a very difficult position to play. But the catcher is often one of the more valuable players on the field, especially in younger groups like yours. Alright, so we can't really attack. The Tamiyo can get back like a Fatal Push or something and kill the Subtlety, and I think I just let that happen. I don't know. I don't think I can win the game. So maybe I just force a negation the removal spell on the Subtlety so they can't really attack with Tamiyo, gain life. But they're gonna make more sagas. Subtlety, sure. Yeah, we're dead. I'm just gonna concede. We're just like super dead. It's always the One Ring though. So we just need some consigns. They have a lot of hits for consign. Break the Ice can kill the sagas if we're really upset about them. I don't know why my opponent's just not playing 1 Shuko and 4 Nadus. Seems like very easy to do. Alright, I don't think Spell Pierce is very good in this matchup, so we're going to cut them. I like the Dismember, okay, because they have Emery and Tamiya, which need to be killed. I like Subtlety for winning Subtlety Wars. Bowmaster is good against the ring. And maybe trim a Consider. I don't know if we want a bunch of consigns. I guess we don't need Spell Snare. They had very few 2-drops. Basically just the new legend. So maybe we just do consign for Spell Snare. And then we'll just have our removal spells to kill the new 2-drop, whose name I don't recall. So Will? Sometimes pitcher? Yeah, pitching's really difficult too, Lucas. Alright. I will keep this hand. This looks pretty good. run the play. A turn one Tamio could be annoying, but that's like a really strong draw from them. There's really not a whole lot I can do in those scenarios. I will consider on turn one. I think I'm gonna Watery Grave first, but maybe I should fetch Island and do it to grow my graveyard more quickly for Frog and Murktide. In fact, I think because of that, I am gonna fetch on one, and I will fetch Island. They're on 6 cards. That's good news. How's it going, Jake? Welcome to the stream. Turn one Balble. Mox? Oh god, they have the turn one Emery. That's so brutal, man. This draw from the Emery decks is extremely tough. I will consider in response in case I hit Subtlety, because I would like to Subtlety this thing. We'll go for Watery Grave. My life total is not that relevant in the matchup. They don't pressure me too much, except with Saga. Fatal Push. Keep it on top. And I'll go fetch a tap land, Fatal Push this. It leaves me like down for a turn in terms of holding up Counterspell, but I don't really know what else I'm supposed to do. I don't think I can just give them freebies. Alright, we are going to fetch Undercity Sewer tapped. This is to turn on Revolt. Another Fatal Push. I have this other Fatal Push, so I think I'm going to bench the one in my hand. Next turn, I can go 2-drop plus Fatal Push, or Fatal Push plus hold up Counterspell. I mostly want like a Murktide at this point, but another fetch land might also be good so that I can fetch push again. I had the main phase because if I wait till upkeep, it could be bad for me. Okay, so they're highly incentivized to play Saga or use Saga next turn, so we will just go for a Frog. Bloombar cards look whack? Dude, some of those Bloombar cards look awesome. They're just like actually great Magic cards with little animals on them, and that's cool. And a lot of them are just like callbacks to things I love. Did you see the Merfolk Looter? That guy looks cool. Also, what's up, Nick? How's it going? All right, so now we get to attack with Frog. They can't really block. Love drawing Watery Grave. Miss Lethal, thanks for the follow. Did I miss Lethal? What the heck? There's no way they just make a 2/2 and block, right? Are they? Okay. I'll discard a land. All right, great. I could have Fatal Pushed it, but discarding it, I mean, I guess I'd rather just hold the Fatal Push. I don't know. I could have also given my thing flying. I think I'm fine just trading land for blocker there. Okay, so they may go get Pithy Needle here for the Frog, but I think that's fine, so we'll just let it happen. And now we have Counterspell, Bowmaster, Counterspell for their next super relevant thing, Bowmaster to help prevent things like the ring from being too awkward. They did not Fatal Push my Frog, which means they probably don't have it, which means Bowmaster and Frog together could be quite problematic for them. Yeah, there's a couple of really, really cool things. I've only looked at a handful of cards today so far. Emery. I think I kind of just want to counterspell this. Maybe I don't have to because of the Fatal Push. But it does turn off Mox Amber for the turn. So they got Nihil Spellbomb. I don't want them to be able to play a 3-drop or even, God forbid, a 4-drop here. And I don't have a way to turn on Revolt right this moment. That doesn't mean that I can't draw one, but... Okay. This one is fine. And then if they play something to draw a card, I'll Bowmaster it in response. And then it'll kill the Basim. Alright, we'll go for Bowmaster. They may crack Spell Bomb in response. I think that's fine. They may pitch Subtlety in response. That's also fine. I guess there's... I don't know. Maybe I should have Bowmastered in response to the Basim. But I wanted him to play like a backup Mox Amber to just rotate it. But now I'll just use a Fatal Push on him, I guess, and get my Froggy in there. I don't think there's any reason to discard here. The second Bowmaster could be quite good, especially if they go for a one ring. We need to really punish them. We'll draw a card off the Froggy. Delta, now I can hold it up. We can only get Island off this Delta, I think. Oh, maybe there's one more Undercity Sewers. We only fetched one. Ooh, check out. So Osteomancer Adept. 2 cost 2/2 Death Touch. Until next turn, you may cast creature spells from your graveyard by forging in addition to paying their other cost. If you cast a spell this way, that creature enters with a finality counter on it. To forage, exile 3 cards from your graveyard or sack a food. Okay, so they can sack a food or eat 3 cards in the graveyard to tap and cast something from the graveyard. That's cool. So it kind of gives them escape almost. Another Urza Saga. This is not that great currently. Alright, I will go ahead and fetch and play Bowmaster on face. That way, if they do anything with the Mox Amber. But also, it just means if they try to draw a card off the Basim, we get to max punish. Push on Frog. Alright, so we can send the Orc. Subtlety's a great draw. It doesn't stop the ring, but the Bowmasters do a great job of that. It can be Cauldron as well. That's cool. Yeah, each one requires you to sack a food in addition to the cost, or exile 3 like Underworld Breach. I think the card's great. Alright, should I play the Subtlety? I think the answer is yes. I just want to squeeze their life a bit. Make it so any card draw they do is bad for them. Next turn they can get, what you calls it? Oh, are we running into our own Subtlety? Dang. Okay, we'll put this on bottom. Alright, we got a lot of good draws here. Preordain would be nice. Any of our big things. Frogtide's pretty big. So we'll eat the 3 things. And now we have a big creature that stops the Saga plus Shadow Spear. And we have a forced block on Subtlety next turn. They can't play any historic cards, or else Basim will draw a card, and then Bowmaster will chew up the Basim and grow the Orc army a bit. Maybe go face also. Is the Ravenous Squirrel a reprint or just a alt art print? Like, is it going to be in standard? Alright, see you later, Lucas. Have a good day, buddy. Miss you. Alright, they do get Shadow Spear, but they do not make a Saga token. So here's a ring. So it's going to draw a card. And we'll use this and we'll kill the Basim. And then if they activate the one ring, they draw 1 card. And I guess we'll just keep growing the Orc. We can't hit them now that they have protection. We'll just target their Subtlety in case they want to draw 1 more card. Nice ring. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, though. It does save them right now for a full turn. 2 cards left in hand. Next turn, if they draw, they'll take quite a bit of damage. Consign to Memory. So we can use this to stop their draw effect if we want to. can also use it to counter their backup ring, which is going to be the thing they're most likely to play. Tamiya is fine. Yeah, we can't stop this. So we'll go 4-face. 4-face. I don't think hitting subtlety makes much sense. My guess is they're just going to play another ring here. And then we get to just counter it and then they die. The Tamiya flips, but who cares? Maybe we should have killed the Tamiya. I don't think so, though. I think we just put them to where they're dead to the ring. Alright. I'm not sure how good Consign is, but I do feel extremely good later in the game when I draw it, because the ring is just such a powerful card. I wish that it countered more, though. No lands, got a mulligan. Opponent is dangerously low on time. I doubt that it'll come to that, but we'll see. In this opener, I think I'm going to put back Consign because it's more of a late game counter spell. We could keep it as a blue card to pitch, then we'd have to get rid of a land or the Dismember, but I think we just want the Dismember in case of this right here. Next turn, we'll play Psychic Frog and then have Force backup for their potential ring turn if they have any mana acceleration. They didn't have a 2-drop here. That's excellent news for me. They could have a fetch land and Fatal Push for the Frog off a Black Sword, which would be a bummer because I can't counter it on my turn. But if they do it on their turn for some reason, I might. Like if they go Surveil and untap, main phase, kill the Frog. We have 2 deltas which we can use to find Undercity Sewers. Okay, so they're definitely killing the Frog. That's fine. Alright, so now it has to be an extremely powerful thing here for me to want to force. Saga there would have been very scary. No Saga, no 3-drop is excellent news. Emery also could have been a little annoying. Alright, your go. And now Drawn and Lock actually counters the One Ring as well. But I'll probably go for Force and Negation on the first one, and then we can go Drawn and Lock Bowmaster next turn, maybe. Top card goes to the grave. Mox Amber. Alright. They don't cast anything with 4 mana, so they would have. I think if they had Subtlety, they would have held it up. So here, I guess we go Sewers plus Bowmasters. There's a good chance they have. I guess after 2 games, I didn't see Bowmasters, so I guess there's basically no chance that they have Bowmaster of their own. Maybe they have it in the sideboard, but we would have probably seen it last game. Bowmaster is often the best answer to an opposing Bowmaster as well, so this is like a double duty of getting 2 Bowmasters into play while also giving me a counter to their Bowmaster if they have one of their own. Alright, so I do want to kind of hold up Force and Negation and maybe try to kill something or ruin their life if they play a way to draw cards. We do miss out on 1 damage from growing the Orc. But I might want to go Force Negation, fetch Sewer if they play Ring. 3 mana. Is this Deluge for 1? This is kind of desperation, but I don't really mind too much because we just have this backup one. I think this is fine because another Bowmaster here is just a fine replacement, and I don't think that the second Bowmaster provides enough pressure boost. I wonder if they have Subtlety here. I think I would be fine with letting the Subtlety resolve as well. I can fetch, but I think I'm just going to untap so that I can hold up Drown and Lock in case they go for a kill spell on the Bowmaster. Salty's a nice pickup. Stops their next big creature play. Now they could go like creature, I go subtlety, and then they go subtlety, and then maybe we're in trouble. But I think trouble is relative. We're in control here. So tapping black mana is just another deluge. So here I think I go for hardcast force. Because I just want to keep the pressure on, and I want to hold up subtlety for the next creature play as long as it's not this turn. It'll push. That's fine. We'll fetch another sewer here, and then we'll hold up subtlety or cast Murktide if that's what we draw. Definitely going to graveyard this land. Could hold the land in case we draw Frog. I actually just like playing my lands, especially if like we don't want a subtlety here. We might want to play another land next turn to hold up subtlety drown. They only have one card in hand. There's some chance we should main phase the subtlety in case they have subtlety of their own. I don't think I'm gonna cast it here though. Another Bowmaster. Now if they hardcast their own subtlety, I can just let them block and then Bowmaster their subtlety after blocks. I don't really want to play subtlety into subtlety mana though, so we'll just say go. Really fun first match though. Tamio? Tamio! How much I care? Not much. Not enough. Alright, so we'll go for a Bowmaster to bait subtlety. And then we'll drown and lock the subtlety. Okay, well they didn't have it, so that's fine. And now if I draw land, we'll go drown plus hold up subtlety. Alright, let's consider looking for like a counter spell. That way we can main phase drown on the Tamio and attack. Frog? Okay, so now we can drown Frog or drown subtlety. I think I'm just gonna attack. I don't think I want to drown the Tamio. I don't think it does enough. They go to 4. And I think I'm gonna play Frog. It'll push the Bowmaster, that's fine. Wondering, will counter target spell? Had it the whole time. Okay, so we're threatening lethal. They could have attacked and then used Manama to untap. I think that was the play for them for sure. Let's play this consider, see if anything on top matters. Another Frog is actually pretty good. In case they block Orc, we can just let Frog happen and then play another Frog. Now we can discard. I don't think we need to discard 2 to deal more damage, and I think I'd rather just hold up subtlety if I draw another blue card. Okay, well, we drew that, so let's just go Frog, Fatal Push, Frog, and they need to draw a third Deluge, and a third Deluge is still very unlikely if you ask me. It has to be a Ring, I think. Ring is pretty good for them. They can maybe win the game if they draw the Ring here. We'll keep this hand. It's a little scary on the draw because we just have the one land, but Preordain helps us get there. Subtleties for early creatures also kind of nice. You've been mudding is fun? Yeah, it is. It's so gross, though. Feels like Shadow should be good. I don't disagree with you. I think that more than anything, people are just not super interested in trying to break the format or anything like that, because we just haven't. I'm gonna go ahead and salty this just because I'm a little behind on the draw. But they put it on bottom. Nice to know. Anyway, the gist is that Frog is better in a control deck, and Death Shadow is not a control deck. We got to bottom both. We need land. Did not find land, but we do have Consider, and we can also pitch. I hope we naturally draw land so we can play Frog next turn. I'm going to subtlety pitch a Consider, probably. Tune the narrative, that's fine. Jesky control. I don't love playing Narset in those decks, but is what it is. Alright, so we'll go fetch Froggy. Yeah, same here. This tune is perfect. Oh, thanks, Will. I do like me some Deftones. Okay, so I thought that they were Jeskai control, but they are not. I hope that this is a creature so that I can just subtlety it. I guess it could be Teferi, and we'll also subtlety it. Flage. We'll let Flage resolve, and I'll just discard 2 things to the Frog. I could have countered it, because I think they might go for the deal, maybe I just let this die? This could be a bait. We'll let the escape part happen. This at least forces them to use their thing. See if they play it now or wait till the Flage damage. They should definitely wait for the Flage damage. Yeah, I think that's correct, Akira. Alright, so the Galvanic Meat. Both have 2 cards in hand. They're pretty head on resources. Mox Amber in their deck is kind of wild, not gonna lie. Main phase considered. Don't mind drawing a land here. Murktide Regent will keep. I think it could be our way to victory. And we'll consider EOT if nothing to Spell Snare happens. And we will be looking for a land. I think there's a chance that we'll need to counter a removal spell. Alright. Ragavan's fine. I mean, it's not fine. It sucks, but it is what it is. Mox Amber in their deck seems kind of wild. And the Flage Tune the Narrative deck. Mox with Flage is okay, but Mox with Tune the Narrative is weird. Second Treasure. Playing Bowmaster. We'll go for Spell Snare. This is off the top of my deck. Alright, Ragavan goes to hand. Now we just hope that they don't have an answer for Murktide. I guess we could have made it 1 bigger with Consider. But I don't really know what I want yet. And I don't think I'll know what I want until I get to untap. Ragavan's fine. So, Tandy, do you think there's a Reclamation deck that could be viable for the RCQ season? Do you mean Wilderness Reclamation? Because if that's the question, then I don't think so, but I don't really know. Let's see what the top card is before we decide on if we kill this thing or not. Alright, don't want the land, so we'll just swing for 6. And now we just have a 3-hit Murktide versus them with nothing. I also kind of want to turn off their Mox Amber, so I think I'm going to go for a kill spell on the Ragavan. Just make sure they don't have 4 mana for the One Ring or the Flage, necessarily. This does allow them, if they draw a land, to be able to escape the Flage. But I think I'm just going to have to dodge that. Kamio. This taps for blue, that doesn't bring back Flage. Look for removal or anything. Verdane's fine. Let's just dig 2 deeper, and everything in our deck costs 2. I'll Pierce Shores. I'll put both on bottom. Alright, let's attack. Bowmaster is okay here, but It is probably going to get swept up in the Flage stuff. If they go to draw a card, we will play Bowmaster to punish it, though. We can Froggy with some Terrys? Yeah. Old scary Terry. So this is blue, green, red, white for Omnath. So we'll go ahead and bust them for one so that they are forced to block with Tamio. I guess they're not forced, but they are if they don't draw land. All right, they do find a land, so they're going to go up to 8. All right, so now they still, let's see, they can escape the thing. Should I God, part of me wants to send with both. They have to block the orc, so they go to 1. And then if they draw a card, they're dead. But they can escape, so they just have to block here. So they go to 1, and that makes a lot of their fetch lands dead. I guess they're not dead because of the Omnath. Maybe that was a bad attack. They can escape the Flage and go to 4, but that doesn't kill the Murktide. So if they don't have an answer for the Murktide, oh, they're just dead to the Bowmaster because of the tune? Nice. So now I'm very glad I attacked the way I did. Opponent said, oh yeah. Alright, so they're like all creatures. So Subtlety comes in. I think Dismember's pretty good. Stern Scolding hits no Flage, no Omnath. So we won't bring it in. I think it's just these two. And I think I'm cool cutting 2 Spell Pierce. Most of their non-creatures are going to be very cheap, is my guess. Next RCQC is Modern. Yes, it is. And we will be going full steam ahead. Surgical. I mean, you can make an argument to surgical the Flages. I don't think that's a bad idea. I think that's something that I've been wanting to try, and I don't think Fawn is very good. So that's a good idea. Let's try it. Hopefully I got the submit button in time. Sometimes it's too late. This hand is pretty weak. We're going to mulligan. It does have Bowmasters, but just a very weak hand in general. We'll keep 2 fetches so we can get our Murktide online a bit quicker. Turn 1, Ragavan? Alright, do we want a Subtlety? I think the answer is no. And I'll just go for a Fatal Push on it. But I can wait, I think, until attack step. If they play Mox Amber, I'll kill it in response to Mox Amber. But I don't want them to be able to dash me. They probably don't have a ton of stuff to do on turn 2. Water Grave. Push your mans. Is that your mans? When you come look for those deep analysis and they're nowhere to be found. Yo, real talk, it's the worst card in the deck. And every single person that's played with it, including myself, said that it should be cut. So if you disagree, that's fine. I'm sorry. I just was not personally digging it. So they kept a card on top. If it's Flage, we have Subtlety / discard 2. I mean, I literally just cut the 2 deep analysis for just like some other cards. So Ragavan, sure. Tamio, I think that's fine. If they block, we'll discard 2 cards. I'll Bowmaster the Ragavan for sure. Then we have Subtlety for 4-drop creature. They kept on, or they put Manamo in the grave. I don't really want to make this jump, so we'll just, because they have the Tamio anyway, so let's just attack. Alright, so we'll discard, I think, a Subtlety and Consider. And I think I'll go ahead and Bowmaster the Ragavan. I guess I don't have to do this now. This is perhaps a mistake to do it right this second. Factor Fiction is nostalgia. I agree. I had Sauron's Ransom in the deck, but it was also weak. All right, found another land. We'll go and play Dark Six Shores and attack. And now we have Drown in the Lockup, which will counter most of the things they play. And I don't feel like I need to pitch to make this big or anything. So we'll just play like a control game from now on. Tune the Narrative is fine. We'll get to grow and deal them an extra damage. Supreme Verdict would be a little annoying, but it'll be weird for their deck to have Supreme Verdict. It's like almost all creatures. Have you liked Drown in this meta? I think it's pretty good against everything except Tron. So far, I mean, it's only a 2 of. And we're not playing Thought Scour. What is this? Solitude? So... I think we just drown it. And then if we draw a blue source, we can pitch with Subtlety. This is 6. Alright, we did draw it. I don't think I want to play the Murktide Regent. Because they might... we just have enough pressure. And we have Subtlety for another Solitude. I think that a lot of people would just fetch and play Murktide there. And I think you would win most of the games. But I think that there are some games that you'll lose if you do that. What can they play from the graveyard? Not enough. They put it on bottom. Tamio, that's fine. We have the push for it. Last card's a land. GG. Had him covered. What's your opinion on Brain Surge? It costs way too much mana, I think. Opening hand looks pretty good. We'll keep. Pericardo, thanks for the follow. What y'all think about Bloomburrow so far? It looks like it's going to be some really fun stuff. Okay, so they are probably going to kill us. This is a matchup where John Locke's quite bad. And we're on the draw against Devour of Destiny. They likely have Chalice and Trinisphere. And those two cards are extremely tough for us to beat. Dugan's Labyrinth with Devour of Destiny is an ideal start for them. And we don't have Force Negation to stop it. They do Breaker of Creation. Oh, they made a mistake. They made a mistake, chat. Did I see the 5-mana cat that combos with 2 Cauldron Familiars? Yes, I did. It's like all your creatures are food. And then you can sack a food to do a thing or something. And so with 2 Cauldron Familiars, they just go infinite. Kind of cool. All right, let's go shocking. We're going to play this Consider, more than likely. Talisman. That's fine. I'm going to consider in response. If we have Force Negation, I might consider forcing that. We don't need this land, so we'll just let it go. I'm going to play Frog next turn, and there's a good chance we just lean hard on Frog. Drown in the Lock is unlikely to do much. Next turn is likely going to be a setup turn, and if it's not, then Frog can maybe get some work done. I think Frog is maybe the only card that can save me in this matchup. The One Ring. Everyone boos. I'm playing this Dimir deck, and FNO has been one of the most pleasurable experiences in a long time. Yeah, it's a very, very cool deck. Alright, let's play another Frog. I'm going to go ahead and play another Preordain as well. Murktide. Yeah, sure. Here we go. So we'll go Fawn, Pitch, Drown. They'll probably eat a frog, and then we'll just play Murktide. Because they can go tap this, crack map, get Tron, play Devour, Devour Frog. Alright, here comes Devour. It's gonna eat one of these Froggos. Alright, so we'll go discard Fawn, discard Drown, Murktide. Your go. I don't think it's worth it to I don't think it's worth it to discard more to attack with the frog. Big draw 3. If they play another Devour and eat the Murktide, I'm 100% dead. But if Counterspell can stop the things they're doing so that my Murktide and Frog can attack next turn, I'll be very happy. You love the ring? I love the One Ring! Ah! The One Ring is based. I'm going to take this. I think they might have Dismember. And I really don't want to burn this on a Dismember, if I can help it. Here comes an Eldrazi. I think I have to counter... Actually, I might not counter this. But maybe I should. They just have so much mana left over that it's like... It's not bait, it's just good. You know, Common Land Cycle looks it. I agree. I think it's cool. Regard Signet's fine. It's a weird one. Eight mana. This is the Eldrazi they showed me earlier, and I've seen Spike play this one, but I don't actually know what it does. Alright, it says when you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each colorless permanent you control. And it has hexproof from each color and Annihilator too, so it can be countered. So I guess I'll go for a counterspell on it. And they may go for a Dismember on my Frog, and I think I'll just pitch Counterspell. Oh, it's just gonna die anyway. That's fine. Sorry. It did. So they're at 15. They're gonna gain a little bit of life here to prevent the One Ring from doing too much damage to them. They go to 24. I'm at 9. Force Negation's probably not enough. I have to attack, I think. This is like putting me at a pretty big disadvantage, but I need to get very lucky to win anyway. So game 2 and 3 should be much better. I don't know that they're advantaged by any means, but they're definitely much better for me. So I have Consign and Break the Ice. I have to hope that I don't draw basic islands. And I need to keep hands that are less blocky. Alright. Devour doesn't have evasion, so any blocker this next turn can maybe save me. I'm going to look to counter anything this turn that looks too scary. Another Breaker of Creation to gain more life is probably too much going with the One Ring. Devour of Destiny, yeah, that's enough. Alright, Break the Ice in, Consign to Memory in. Subtlety in. Maybe? No. Maybe subtlety out. Ground and Lock definitely out. Fatal Push definitely out. I think all the card draw effects are fine. Spell Pierces are okay, not great. I guess early they're good, and we are on the play. They don't really draw cards outside of the ring, but I think the ring is good enough for Bowmasters. I think it's maybe just Subtlety. It is good against like Thought-Knots here exactly, but they have most of their creatures have cast effects. Maybe it's the Dismember out. Keep the Subtlety, get rid of Dismember. Fine. I don't think Surgical's worth. Got a mulligan this one, no lands. Alright, we have Preordain and Spell Pierce. I also have Force Negation. I think I put Bowmaster back, and I think I Preordain on the one. Would a Snare hit? They have Chalice the Void in their deck, probably. Chalice on one is extremely bad for me. They also showed me multiple Talismans and Signets. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's wrong to leave in Spell Snare. I'm not gonna argue or deny. I gotta bottom both. I need land only. Nice, found the land. I do have Force for Chalice here, so that's why I'm not too scared. They got nothing, so we'll play the Frog and hope they don't have Dismember. I think it's important just to get the Frog down. I doubt I'll discard my hand to protect it from Dismember, but I might. I might. Alright, we'll just pitch the Spell Snare, slow them down. I think when you have Frog in play, it's just important to just pressure the opponent like crazy. Let's just attack. I'm not ready to discard cards yet. Break the Ice is a good one. We'll go ahead and play it. They did have Tron. Spell Pierce on the Talisman. We'll just try to disrupt their mana as much as we can. Let's consider first. If we draw another land, I might just discard it. Another Preordain. I think I need to bottom this because I want to draw a 2-mana thing that's relevant. Alright, let's attack. Alright, I'll probably discard Darkslick Shores to it next turn. Let's hope they don't have the mine for Tron. They have Temple. So this means they could Thought-Knot Sear me. If they do, I'll just pitch Spell Pierce. I'll go ahead and fetch. Sewer. Looking for a threat, counterspell, something like that. Don't want Spell Snare. Too late. Four mana. Colorless Eldrazi spell. Okay, so they're going for Exile. That's fine. We have Spell Pierce for it. Alright, so let's go discard. Attack. I have plenty in here, so let's just go ahead and eat 5. And now we just hope we don't get hit with All's Dust. Tron All's Dust is obviously GG. Another Eldrazi Temple. They're very close to dusting next turn if they have another mana source. The One Ring. You know, now I'm just looking for counterspell only, something like that. Don't want another Frog. Mhm. See what the top card is. Break the ice. Is that even good enough anymore? Let's see. I guess we top it, and then if they go land All's Dust, we can maybe blow up a land and play Murktide. I don't even know if that's good against the ring, though. I think I'm just going to bottom it. I think I'm just going to play another... I think I'm just going to play another Murktide. And this is like max pressure, and they have to basically wrath me or they're dead. And that's what we're going to hope, that they're just dead. I fucking hate this card, man. I hate it. How'd you sideboard? I missed it? I'm not entirely sure. I cut the 2 Drown in the Lock and a Dismember, and I brought in Consign, Break the Ice. I cut some Subtlety as well, I think. And the Fatal Pushes. The Fatal Pushes have very few to little targets in the matchup. Just against the Tron version. There are Eldrazi versions that have the small Eldrazi. If they play another One Ring here, I can't really see myself winning. Bob Goyes, thanks for the follow. If I had not discarded the Darksix Shores to the Frog and instead played it, I could have... Opponent said they had All's Dust but no land. Good to know. I don't think that we... I think that the spell snares are fine. They just have Mana Ramp. And it's good against Mana Ramp. And I don't think Subtlety is better. Break the Ice Surgical too cute? I think so. They're not really relying on Tron mana. Tron is just like a free roll. I know Soju is super annoying. Alright, so they're on 6. We'll keep a 1-lander with Break the Ice, but I have 2 Preordained, so we'll use Preordained looking for Black Source so that we can kill a land on 2. And hope that they don't play Trinisphere or whatever. If they play turn 1 Chalice, I'm probably just going to concede unless we draw a land. Alright, so they exile 3. They did not have a 2-mana land, but they can maybe have one next turn. Would they exile? They exiled a 2-mana land, so that's bad. Alright, now so let's just look for Force Negation. These are both bad. We didn't find it. So now we just hope that they don't Trinisphere us. They didn't Trinisphere us. Talisman. So we know that they have a a power plant already in exile, so we'll go after that one. It's awkward to play Break the Ice here instead of holding up stuff, but I think that we just cut them off land there. There's a chance that they just don't have another land. They did put 2 in exile here. They might have 1 more land. Okay, so they don't do anything this turn. So I'll probably go Preordain and hold up Spell Pierce, but really want to draw a land so I could play Psychic Frog, hold up Spell Pierce. Let's dig for land this away. Let's bottom this Spell Pierce, keep the Sewer, play it tapped. Top card's Fawn, we'll keep. And now hopefully they just go any random land into Ring and I have Counterspell for it. And then we have Fawn for the next one. Forest, great. Pass is also great. Alright. Here's this one. And now I can Frog or Murktide with the Fawn. And I think I should just Murktide, because it's just huge. And they're unlikely to have a way to kill it. Alright, we'll tap out. We'll eat 4 cards. And then Fawn plus Frog keeps us from losing to another ring. But if they have Tron plus 7-drop baddie that eats this, we're in trouble. And we know they have it. Another ring. No, it's Mycosynth. That's scary too, though. So this is going to let him go get another Tron land. This is nightmare. This is nightmare. Now, I need land for second Frog. Oh, wrong land. Spellpierce too good. I mean, Spellpierce is great right now. I guess I just play Frog. I mean, I'm basically dead. They're just gonna eat my Murktide, and I'm probably gonna discard both Bowmasters to Frog, and then block this. But if they don't attack, that's fine. I'll just attack with this in the air, and I'll just go really aggressive on it. I wish we had Consign. If we had Consign, we could stop it, and we would just not have played the Frog. Maybe we should play 4 Consign. I think 4 Consign for Break the Ice is probably too much. I'll draw another blue card. I'll be more willing to play the Frog. Okay. Let's discard 2 Bowmasters. Oh, I think they have Dismember, and they're tanking on casting it here. I'll definitely counterspell the Dismember. Give this flying attack for a bunch. They'll be at 10, and they'll take some damage. And I'll draw a card. And I hope I draw 1 blue card so I can still Fawn. But at this point, with them having Tron, they have so many good draws that are just bad for me. Looks like they decided against the Dismember. Spell Snare, not the best, but it is a pitch card for Fawn, so that's fine. I should be able to get 1 Frog in the air next turn. I don't even know if I need it. Maybe I should be playing Thought Scour. Eddie, are you still in chat? Dismember there. I think this one getting Dismember is just fine. Is this like hard to grow both of them anyway? I can kill them next turn with just this. If they have another Devour to eat this, we lose. Karn the Great Creator. Maybe we let this happen so that we can counter what they grab. But I think because I just have... Let's see what they get. Maybe that's wrong. I have lethal if I don't have to counter anything. If I don't have to counter anything, I just have lethal. And so if they get something that's not like kill your frog or whatever, we just attack them for 7 and they die. And people just mess up all the time. You like Force Pitch Snare? That means I'm even further away from frogging them to death. And I'm dead to the double attack from the 2 creatures. I think I just let this happen. I know that this is maybe controversial or whatever, But I think because I'm dead to these two attacking twice, if I don't go for a kill next turn, I just hope that they minus on this and get something that's irrelevant and lose. Yeah, they can get insect and eat their own thing, but then I can just not discard my hand. I don't know. Maybe this is wrong. We'll see. I don't think I'm favored to win this game if I counter the Karn. And that's where I'm at. And I think that I'm not favored to win this game in general because they just have so much pressure. Ensnaring Bridge. Do we let them do the Ensnaring Bridge? Okay. I can't win the game against Ensnaring Bridge. My frog's too big. That's fine. They get EE. I don't think they'd have EE in their sideboard. I don't have anything that can grow my frog, I don't think, by one. But maybe I should fawn. Alright, so Murktide. Murktide's a great draw. So now we go attack Karn, draw card. And I will discard Spell Snare. Play Murktide, eat the grave. And now I think we're back to being ahead. Can you attack first and discard for counters, or is only sorcery? I don't know what you're asking. I'm sorry. You can't deal damage and then grow your thing and deal more damage. Song. This is Wes Anderson by Alex LaHaye. I mean, they were going down to 2 cards and my frog was already too big, so. Alright, so if we draw anything that draws a card, we win. Because we get the graveyard big enough to eat with frog. Break the ice. Okay, so that's not enough. Why not attack? So I'm at 2. I have to attack with both. Otherwise, they just don't block and I die. Attack with both. We have to block 1 and 1. At this point, I think Frog is better than Murktide. Because I can attack and draw and maybe find a blocker or a kill spell. Another Murktide also. How many Murktides are gone? I guess a Frog. Actually, if I do it the other way, a Frog or a Murktide can win the game. So let's do this. Because I think the odds of me drawing into something to block are not super low. Son of a bitch. We counter card and we win? Maybe. I think we lead with Sewer. Sewer and Consider are pretty similar here. I don't know what I'm playing against, but in general, if I don't know what I'm playing against, I just bend the cards from Surveil so that my Frog and Murktide are better. It was close. Eddie, can we go tomorrow instead of today? I had a lot of errands to run today. Turn 1, Halfling. So probably Nadu. Good game to go back and watch. I agree. And I do think that not counting the Karn did lose me the game, but I don't think that it loses me every single game that I don't cast it. And I think it's important to understand that, like, the likelihood of me winning that game was relatively small, and countering the Karn makes it smaller. But whatever. Ringheart and Tuco, yeah. All right, so they're gonna make some tokens / delighted halflings. It's fine. A tough matchup for that deck. Yeah, I agree. All right, so this could be a tough one as well. I think I'm just gonna attack. I don't think it's worth like discarding 2 and then exiling the graveyard, but maybe it is. Maybe it is. Because they're absolutely going to block with the insect, right? I guess I go ahead and kill Delighted Halfling just to slow them down. Counterspell doesn't work on the Nadu anyway. This doesn't stop Springheart and Tuco, which is what I would like to kill, but because they bestowed it. Alright, so now they can sack some lands to get some triggers. Alright, we're gonna try to fly over the tokens. They're unlikely to block. We have Counterspell for exactly Shuko. Everything else is uncounterable for the most part. It also stops Cord, I guess. Hold on to Darkslick Shores. Does this deck play 2 through Tamios are not worth? This build, it's not worth, but there are builds that could play it for sure. I do think Tamiyo's better than in an artifact strategy. I think that you really want to sit on like Spell Snare in this format. GG, DG. Ormite's fine. The second Psychic Frog is bad. I'm just now realizing this. Counter spell. So this is basically just a free attack. Oh, chump block. That's fine. We drew another counter spell if they have Cord, which is nice. I know, I know. I wish they would have banned Nadu yesterday. They blocked with Springheart and Antuco instead of an insect. What does that mean? What the heck does that mean? Do they have something that uses the graveyard? Maybe they have extraction specialist or something? Or they want to get it back to... I don't know. I really don't understand why they'd block a Springheart over an insect. Very curious. Board for 1. So what is the 1? I think I just let this happen. I guess I just don't have targets. I don't know what it's going to be. They already have the Sylvan Safekeeper. They don't have white mana for the thing. Oh, they have Shifting Woodland for it. Okay. Is there some combo with that I'm unaware of? Oh, they copy Shuko for it. That's fine. GG. Shifting Woodland. Just too much anyway. I just don't care enough. All right. Deluge, Dismember, Subtlety, Scolding. I think this is a matchup where Pierce and Snare are both medium. They have, I guess, enough snare targets because of the 2-drop, so I'll just cut Pierce. We love Bowmaster. Drown in the Lock can be awkward. Fawn can be awkward. All the pitch counterspells, I think, are just important to have, though. So what are the 3 worst cards in our deck in the matchup? Bowmaster is bad? I guess that's fair. Their deck is kind of built with it in mind, and they play with it, play around it. I'll keep 1. Mental Mishap's also a great player, chat. Old school. Forgot who they are in real life, but I know I see them on the leaderboards all the time. Hex Parasite. Hex Parasite was the one. Good call. I don't think you want Surgical. I know people are going to be like, oh, you lost to Shifting Woodlands. Why don't you just bring in Surgical so you don't lose to Shifting Woodlands? It's like, they have 1 Shifting Woodlands. I don't put Shuko in the graveyard too often. I don't know. Just need to draw Subtlety for Nadu, basically. I think we got a mulligan this one. It's not that bad of a hand, but just 1 land. This is a horrible hand. And no land. I guess I should have kept the opener, but it looked so bad. So we'll keep... We want both fetches. Alright, definitely Watery Grave, and I think it's just Deluge. And I think we just go for a Deluge on 3, or maybe even 2, or on 4, depending on what they do. And I'll just use my fetches to fetch up stuff, Undercity Sewers, but maybe I just wait until next turn. Yeah, but it was even a tap land Bajan, that's the problem. Then my 6 was 6 land Spell Snare, my 5 was no lands. Merc's so slow. I mean, it usually comes down on turn 3. Looks pretty bad in this hand. Because I mulligan to 4. But you have to think of this like a control deck. Would you say that Omnath is too slow? Maybe. I think that's disingenuous, though. Alright, Teferi, Time, Raveler. I'm just going to go ahead and counter this one. We'll get 1 Watery Grave and 1 Island. Can't be countered. Never mind. Very cool. Never mind. Basically dead. My deck turns off. Maybe I should have kept Stern Scolding or Fatal Push. Too late for the Subtlety. I'm just going to concede. I just don't care enough. Opener is keepable. We'll go ahead and play Preordain on 1. I do like Consider more than Preordain in this deck, and I know that people are going to say that that's silly, but it's just so hard to... Mimic? It's just so hard to hold up Spell Snare with Preordain. Like, I just have to play a Preordain here to look for land, because even if they have Mimic... Bottom both, looking for land. Didn't find it. Main face spells are rough. Yeah, I agree. But I think that it's worth. You know, finding Murktide specifically is kind of cracked. Mimic? Do I care? I think I don't care. Alright, I'm just gonna push this so we don't... I don't know, get got by anything. And I'll just Subtlety the next thing they play. Yeah, I agree, Oinkster, but we are playing both, so... Alright, we'll pitch Spell Snare now, and we're now... I guess we should have pitched Drown and Log. Now we're just looking for a land still for the counterspell. And luckily we don't have Swamp, so all of our lands tap for blue. We have 2 Undercity Stewards that can screw us, and we have a few other lands. Ragtime here, thanks for the follow. Pretty frustrating couple of matches here, man. See if they take the Fatal Push or the Counter Spell. My guess they'll take Fatal Push, because then if I draw Fetch Line, I can kill this and draw a card. Okay. They left me the Fatal Push. They only have 2 cards in hand, too. They took Spell Snare? They took... No, they took Frog. Frog's pretty strong. Fawn? Fawn's not very good. I guess they don't know about it, so it could be okay. They have some weird one. But since they're mimicking, I think it's just probably all Eldrazi. 6, 7. Null Drifter. I was gonna need my lands. I'm out. Alright, Consign. I don't know how good Stern Scolding is, but Break the Ice is great. Dismember is great. Deluge is probably good enough. This is 9. I like to cut all of the counter spells that cost 1. The Force of Negations. I like the Subtleties. And we like to cut the Drown in the Lock because they don't put anything into the graveyard. And then we can cut a Bowmaster. Deluge seems bad. I mean, the 3-mana thing that kills 5/5s, and we just don't have ways to kill their big guys other than Dismember. I think Deluge can be rough, but it's a useful tool, and I think it's okay in the matchup, but I don't think it's great. I think it's better than Orcish Bowmasters, and I think it's better than Drown in the Lock and the counter spells. They could Chalice me, and not having Spell Pierce or Spell Snare for Chalice is a bummer. But we're already down a game because we just didn't draw a second land. What are they gonna do? Let it play first. Yeah. Another 1-lander. This time we have Consider and Consign. We'll keep. So we'll hold up the Consign in case they play Chalice on one, and we'll definitely counter Chalice. I guess not definitely. I guess there's some chance I let Chalice resolve and cast or I play Consider in response. Labyrinth, okay. Null Drifter. Mimic's fine. Maybe instead of Consider. I guess I just Consider because I really want to find land. I could get Sewer and hold Consider for later. Alright, we're going to gamble on finding a land. Man, this is brutal. Alright, well, we're probably going to lose now. Next turn, we can go Break the Ice plus Consign. Alright, that's great that they did not play another 2-mana land. Oh, they have 6. They could have put the Null Drifter back in their hand. I wish that was only a sorcery speed. I think you should be punished for that specifically. I think we'll probably play Murktide and hold up Consign now. Another land. Alright, we should be good here. I'm not going to play Break the Ice this turn. Killing lands only tap for 1, I think is worse than holding up Consign Counterspell. Another Courtyard. Winebreaker. Do I even care about this? Yeah, whatever. Just counter it. I'm going to counter it, push this, kill their land, hold up. I just basically get to 180 them there. 180 no scope. Take their whole board, take their whole everything. You think Labyrinth was busted, now I think it's okay, it's printed. I mean, when you see it in the context of all the other cards in the format, you realize that it's good and great, but not too good and not too great. Not insurmountable. That's the play? Yeah, just 360 no scope them. Bowmaster here is okay, but not great. 4 land is bad. The 2 preordains are not horrible. I think I'm just gonna mulligan though. I think I'd rather just find a better hand. And consign on 1 here is nice. Gives me some help. I'm gonna put back the tapped land. That way we can go like consign or preordain into frog. I think I'm gonna save the consign for later in the game, depending on which land they start on. If they start on 2 mana land, I'll hold up consign in case they play turn 2 Thought Knot. But not being able to preordain again is awkward. So here's Devour, but they're on 5 cards. All right. Cavern of Souls. Okay. That makes my consign a bit worse, but it can still stop some stuff. So I think because they played Cavern, we are going to play Preordain. And if they play turn 2 Chalice, I think that's fine. We'll just try to beat them with Prago. I'm going to bottom both because we're just somewhat likely to draw more lands anyway, and I don't really love the idea of drawing more lands there. Subtlety is a really nice pickup because it works through Cavern. No 2-drop for them, so we'll just go ahead and play Frog. I might pitch my hand to protect it from Dismember. We're going to fetch Island so I don't take too much damage. Alright, doesn't seem like they have Dismember. Alright, Eldrazi Lanebreaker can't be countered. I think this one's just fine. If they attack, I'll just discard my hand and eat it. Keep the Frog. And discard land double consign since they have the 2 caverns. This is maybe the best part about Frog is just how good it is on defense. It was the same way with Psychotog. You could just never really afford to attack into it. Okay, so we'll attack, see if they block. If not, we'll just deal 2 or deal 1. Dark Slick, play Frog. Stu says, have we discussed how awesome Bloomburrow looks? Yeah, we looked at a bunch of the new cards about an hour ago, and I think they're great. Alright, so here comes another Eldrazi. This time we will Subtlety, pitching a consign. And if we draw a fetch, we can just kill the Linebreaker, and then the Thought Knots here is not nearly as scary. And we can also just, like, pitch most of our cards to grow our thing. Oh, I should have pushed it now, because my Subtlety. That was a pun, chat. Let's attack with both and see how they block. Yeah, I forgot. It's fine. Okay, so now we discard Consign, push, and then we Murktide. Probably should have left one in the grave so we can give these flying more easily. I like bluffing, and now they're definitely just going to play Thought Knot, and then they're going to see my hand is nothing. They'll attack for 6, we'll just take it. We'll definitely block the Linebreaker if they send with that. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we're not even threatening lethal. So I think maybe it's better to just trade. I know this sounds crazy, But because of the line breaker giving haste, I think that we just do this. I don't think that they're going to be able to beat the frogs anyway, and this is why frog is so good. 6 here? I think 6 is enough. Okay, so we'll just play 1 break the ice. Say go. And the next one we can overload break the ice. Okay, they just give up. They just give up, chat. No one can beat the frog except the 2 people who beat it. Alright, so this is Dimir Frogtide. This is my build, but I don't think that this is necessarily the best build. I think Drown in the Lock is really hit or miss. It's obviously quite weak against the Eldrazi style decks with Tron and such, but that is why we have such a heavy sideboard playing against them with Consign and Break the Ice. Fatal Push looked great. I kind of want to get a 9th fetch land into the deck, and we can do that by trimming a Darkslick Shores or a Watery Grave to do it. Maybe even trimming an island down to 2 island for it. I did add a Watery Grave because I like playing 3. The 4th Consider is up in the air, but I think it's good. If you said you want to kind of consider for a land, I would say that that's maybe okay. I think only 19 lands means you have to keep a lot of one-landers that need to find a land, but Preordain is so great at doing that I think that it's mostly just okay. Frog, exceptional card. Looked quite good in those matchups. Murktide Regent, very similarly excellent card. Both just enormous threats for 2 mana. I'm not sold on Bowmasters anymore, man. I'm really not. The format's really adapted to it to be able to, you know, ignore it or just kill it before they draw cards with the One Ring or whatever. It's necessary against the One Ring. It's necessary against Necro Dominance. But other than that, it's pretty weak. It's really good against opposing Bowmasters, though. So I think maybe what we could do is maybe go 1 Bowmasters out. 4 Counterspell, great. 3 Subtlety, great. 2 Force Negation, solid. I might want a 3rd Force Negation in the sideboard for the Ring mashup so that I can tap out for Frog and Murktide and still have protection. And I did find myself letting the One Ring interplay on my opponent's side multiple times, which is kind of terrifying. 3rd Spell Pierce could be okay in the main deck. Yeah. Sideboard, not sold on Toxic Deluge. The 2nd Dismember is fine. Break the Ice Consign's a great package. I think Consign losing to Cavern is awkward, but it's so good against the more Tron version of the Eldrazi decks that you just have to play both. Break the Ice, though, did look quite good when I was playing it. Surgical Extraction, hit or miss. Stern Scolding, hit or miss. That's about it. Thank you to our sponsors. So Games and Comics Paradise became Paradise Games and Gifts. Paradise Games and Gifts is a game store out of Fairfax, Virginia, specializing in trading card games like Disney's Lorcana, Magic the Gathering. They also have singles for those, as well as Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. Make sure to check out their website, gcparadice.com, and pick up some singles for your next event today. Big shout out to Apex Gaming. Apex is the game store that Ross Merriam and myself do commentary for out of Caldwell, Ohio. We're doing a double Modern Open this weekend. Make sure to head on out to Caldwell and join our double Modern Open weekend. We got $10,000 in cash and prizes on the line and 2 champions to crown, and we'll be doing that this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and that's in Caldwell, Ohio at Apex Gaming. You can check out apexgaming.gg for more info. You can also follow their Twitch account, Apex Gaming MTG. Shout out to Moxfield. Moxfield's a great deck builder. You can use it to build decks and share them with your friends quite easily. Our decks that we build for the stream are all on my personal Moxfield, and you can find my Moxfield in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this live, you can ! Deck or decklist in chat, and it'll take you to a direct link to all the decks that we play on stream. I'm Tandy. I write articles. I coach. I make sideboard guides. You can check me out on Patreon if you like written content, if you're old school like me. It's patreon.com/Tandy. And that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.